Well, yeah. Well, then let's jump into the other game. Fantastic game last night. The Timberwolves and the Nuggets, which ended up being a 140-139 win by the Timberwolves in Denver in double overtime. There were some, obviously, the takeaways and the headlines you're going to hear about are Russell Westbrook's kind of miscues at the end, the missed layup and the bad foul. So he kind of gets a dirty name in this, but otherwise tarnishes. He still had a really good game. Jokic's 61-point triple double. It's the highest one this season, or at least within the last few years. But yeah, what an unbelievable game. Anthony Edwards had 37 points, I believe. And Nikhil Alexander-Walker, who was fouled on a three-point attempt, hit the free throws at the end of the game with 0.1 second, or with a tenth of a second left, and ended up winning the game. What I will let you speak first before I hog whatever I want to say here, and then we can get back and forth. What were your takeaways from last night's game?
Well, I mean, I said after the last Timberwolves Nuggets game that the Nuggets were not going to make it easy on the T Wolves, and they didn't. But boy, were the T Wolves able to scrape this one out. I certainly felt like, I mean, anytime these two teams match up, are we actually developing a real rivalry in the NBA? Is it happening? Is there an actual rivalry that's not based on history, but one that's truly just developing before our eyes? I would say if so, this is probably the closest that we've seen in a while. I hope it continues, but yeah, I mean, that was a great way to grind it out and close and not give up by the T Wolves. I think, I mean, stylistically, I don't know that there was anything exceptional or different or anything like that. It was a lot of, Jokic doing his thing, trying to spit it out to other guys, trying to score when he could, and boy, he did a lot of it. And then on the other end of the floor, it was, it was a lot of half court offense that was going through, if not Randall, Edwards, Conley. I did like Edwards had some good off ball moments. He had a big corner three in the second overtime, I believe. I do think that there was a couple of moments where I really felt like the T Wolves were going to run away with it in overtime, but Aaron Gordon hit like two monster threes, I think, in the first and second overtime. That really kept him in it. And yeah, I mean, ultimately, it looked like the Nuggets should have won. It was a bit, as you said, a bit of a Westbrook blunder towards the end there. It was like two out of the last three possessions essentially where first he had a chance at the rim that he missed, but ended up getting the
That
foul.
layup?
Split the free throws, and
Oh, that
then
was before that then.
yeah. So two possessions prior to that, he had a really good look from I believe it was a pass from Jokic at a layup, and ended up getting the foul. If I'm not mistaken, that was McDaniel's foul. Don't quote me on that, but he split the free throws, and that had the game. Um, that had them up by one, I'm sorry, that tied the game, and then Jokic ended up getting a foul off the ball on the following possession, and he also split the free throws, and then so that put them up by one, which and then the final possession, obviously we know Westbrook, uh, missed a layup, and then ended up getting the foul on the other end that cost them the game. So you do feel like the Nuggets should have pulled that one out. So that still the T Wolves get the win. That's how it's going to go down in the standings forever anyway. I didn't feel that sense of dominance from the T Wolves as I had recently in a lot of the Nuggets matchups. We sort of
Well, they
mentioned
were
already that.
they were down at the beginning too. Like it's like their standard. Like they came out super flat. I think when I first looked at the box, like when I saw before I started watching it, I was like, oh man, like it was like 23-5 or something to get started. I was like, oh, here we go. Nuggets are gonna cry. Like it's just because every time they do that, it takes a Herculean effort to come back, and you're just like, man. But at least they've done it so many times now, and I feel like it's become commonplace against at least the Nuggets that they just we'll let Jokic beat us, and that's why I'm surprised that Gordon had such a great game too. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because the Nuggets actually have that exact same trend. I think they've
really,
lost a lot of first quarters this season. So kind of funny that that you feel that the T Wolves were worse on that end. But yeah, I don't if I don't know how these two teams would end up facing each other in the playoffs. It would have to be probably have to be like a second or third round matchup. I mean, maybe if the Nuggets can stay at 3 and the T Wolves can jump up to 6, that would be. I think that would be a first round matchup that neither of those teams would want. I mean, maybe they would relish it, but yeah. They're just they're gonna beat each other up for like 6 or 7 games every time, it seems.
yeah. No, and I think at least and this is going to be a controversial take that I've mentioned. The one thing that at least I'm noticing that whether it's I'm watching the recaps or whether I am watching it live, I'm noticing a not a forcing, but that there all of a sudden Gobert all of a sudden gets dunks. It's like if we can feed Gobert, if he's getting 8 dunks a game, like something good is going to happen. Like it just opens up the rest of it because one, we don't if our defensive player can be in an offensive role, scoring points, that then opens up Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle, who does not look since coming back from his injury, does not look like the New York Knick or the Los Angeles Laker Julius Randle. What I'm seeing, at least within the last 3 games, is he's still dribbling as much, but it's not laterally. It's not a back down. It's positive and to the hole from what I'm at least seeing because he's having so many more assists because he's forcing the defense to react to him versus being standstill dribbling. It's like a movement dribble. Like the dribble is going towards the hoop and then he's able to at least distribute. And so for me, if you have him moving positively towards the hoop, you have Anthony Edwards who maybe doesn't want to dunk on everybody, but wants to force people in so that he can take his step back 3. If you have those 2 guys pushing in, which will then open up quick assists to Gobert to dunk, or you're hitting Nah or McDaniels in the corners for 3, to me, those are things to get the ball moving around is what gets me excited for something to happen this year. It's just like I said, I keep thinking 6 is that ceiling. I've been saying it since like week 2. But yeah, to me, it's good to see within these last couple games, just them having that fight, having the resiliency and getting the big man involved so that one, there's a reason for him to be on the floor the whole game versus being an offensive liability. And granted, I know this time of year is going to be different because each possession is going to be keyed on differently and played defensively differently when we get into the playoffs. So if the Timberwolves can get over those slow starts by feeding him the ball early and getting him going, at least it then helps not get into a bigger hole and can at least maximize your chances later in the game of not having to expend a bunch of energy to come back 25 points in a game.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think Julius Randle's been playing for the most part with more conviction lately, and I think it's smart for the T Wolves to run their offense through him more. As long as he's making quick decisions and not just trying to put the ball on the floor. Yeah, I mean that's when he's at his absolute best, and I think we've been seeing that lately, and that's in big part, why the T Wolves have just been doing so well. It's kind of like you wish you saw this style of this squad have had a chance to play out for the entirety of the season because they could be in a different spot right now if that was the case. So, if I mean, not we're still stuck on this year, and certainly if Randle opts into his player option, we could get a full squad, a full season of the squad actually looking the way that they are now, and plus some, with a little bit more continuity. So I think there's a lot of upside there anyway, at least for this upcoming season. But yeah, anyway, focusing on the playoffs. Excited to see. I mean, if the T Wolves, Whether or not they steal that 6 spot or 5 spot potentially, or end up in the play-in, I still think that we're going to see them in the playoffs. So that's certainly my take on that. But yeah, great game, great watch, good 61 point on 29 shot Jokic performance, which is just an absurd thing to say. Oh yeah, he had a triple double. I know you mentioned that already. So yeah. If you wanna confuse who you're going to vote for MVP, go ahead and watch that game. Go ahead and watch that performance from Jokic.